Hi, fourth grade. I hope you had a great long weekend. This week, we're actually going to be doing art projects that relate to a book. So we're going to be looking at a series that's a big favorite in my house with my kids called Little Blue Truck. And there's a bunch of different books. You might have read these with your younger brother or sister. They're a little bit above your reading level, but they're still really great books. So we're going to be looking at this series and using it to create a piece of art this week. So we're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a piece of blue construction paper if you have one. If not, grab 2 pieces of white. So either a blue paper and a white paper or 2 white papers, a pencil, eraser, some crayons, some markers, colored pencils, paint if you have it, anything you want to use to make color. Crayons will work just fine. A glue stick, a scissors, and you're also going to need to trace some circles. So you might want to get some little cups or something small that's circular that you can trace, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. Grab those things and we'll get started. So here is a finished version of what the project is that we're going to be working on today. But just in case you haven't seen the Little Blue Truck books, I wanted to show you a page or two of the inside of the book. And you can see the whole series focuses around this little blue truck and all the adventures that this truck goes on. And he goes all over the place. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own little blue truck, and then you can draw the background of where you think your little blue truck would like to go. So the first thing we're going to do is draw the truck itself. Now, like I said, if you have a piece of blue construction paper, grab that because it's actually going to save you a little bit of steps. If you don't have a blue piece of construction paper, that's fine. Just use a white piece of construction paper and you'll just color your truck blue. This is just saving you from having to color your truck completely blue. So the way we're going to start drawing the truck is to draw the wheels and the tires first. This is where those 2 circular objects to trace come in. I have kind of like a little sauce cup you might get with some salad dressing or some sauce when you get food places. And then I have a glue stick. And I'm using these 2 because the sauce cup is a nice circle, and it's just a little bit bigger than the glue stick. So it looks like I have the hubcap part of the wheel, and then I have the tire part of the wheel. So I'm going to take this, trace it down towards the bottom of the paper, and you can see I'm holding my paper horizontal like a banana split, not vertical like an ice cream cone. I'm going to take the larger circle first, trace it close to the bottom. Let me adjust some light here. And you can see I don't have them real close to the ends of the paper. I have some space on both sides and about the same amount of space in the middle that I have on each side of the tires, because we are going to have to add things around the tires yet. Then I'm going to take my glue stick and put that right in the middle of that circle. Trace that all around. There's the tires. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start drawing the truck, and we're going to kind of work from the bottom up. So I'm going to use a ruler, but again, you don't have to use a ruler. If you just want to draw straight lines, that's fine. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit, and I'm going to draw a line kind of in the middle of these 2 circles, and then draw a second line right next to that. Now, so it almost looks like a pair of glasses or goggles there. Then where this line touches the wheels, I'm going to draw a little bit of a diagonal line. This is going to start to make the fenders for each of the tires, each of the wheels. This is the one in the front. So decide which is going to be the front of your truck. The front of my truck is going to be here, back is over here. So I'm going to have that diagonal line, start the diagonal line, and I'm just going to go kind of follow the shape of the tire here and come down to about halfway of the middle of the circle and curve it. So there's my front fender. Now for the back fender, it's actually going to come to the middle of the circle on this side and a diagonal line down. So these diagonal lines in the middle went up. There's going to be a smaller diagonal line over here that angles down. And just kind of draw a curved line that follows the shape of the tire there again. And now I have the 2 fenders for each of my wheels or tires. Now we're going to start the truck body. So I'm going to take my ruler again, and almost at the end of that fender, I'm going to draw a straight line up. It doesn't go super duper high. Same spot on the other tire, other fender. And then I'm going to connect those 2. So right now it almost looks like a box just on 2 wheels. Now is when it's going to really start to look like a truck. So I'm going to start kind of at that diagonal line here on the back fender. Right above the fender, I'm going to draw a straight line up. And it's going to be about the line above the box should be about the same height as the box itself. And then I'm going to go to the inside fender here, or the front fender, I'm sorry, and do the same thing. So I have the start of a square. Draw a line to connect that. Now I want to make the windshield for my truck. So all I'm going to do is start at the top of this little square and draw a diagonal line down. Now I have the windshield. So we already have the bulk of our truck done. The rest is going to be little details that we add that's going to make it look even more like a truck. So we want to add a back bumper, which is just a little square here at the side of the truck where it meets the fender. Draw a little circle right above the back fender for the gas tank. Also here on the back part of my truck, I'm gonna draw another line just to make it look even more like the bed of a truck. We also need to do a little bit here to make this look like a door to the truck. So I'm gonna start down at the bottom on this straight line, and I'm gonna curve up, and I'm making a line that goes parallel to that line we drew for the back of the cab of the truck. Straight up, draw a parallel line at that other straight line in the front near the windshield. At the top of the truck, we want to make it look a little bit more like a roof. So I'm going to push this line out a little bit further. Add little end pieces, straight line across. Getting closer. I want to add front lights. So I'm going to make almost a triangle shape, except instead of making a straight third side, what I'm going to do is draw an oval. And I also need to draw where the door is going to stop, and that's going to be kind of right in line with that windshield. Some little vents. And here I'm going to draw a steering wheel, so it's 2 lines and an oval again. And there we have our truck. Next step, oops. Take a black crayon, a black marker, black colored pencil, whatever you're using for color. And we're just going to take this and trace over all the pencil lines on our truck. So go ahead, start tracing. So now I have my truck completely outlined with the black. Now I'm going to actually add a little bit of color to spots just to make it look a little more three-dimensional and not quite so flat. Also make it look a little even more like a truck. So you're going to need a white crayon, a blue crayon, brown, gray, yellow, and black are primarily the colors we're going to be using. And again, you can use crayons, you can use colored pencils. Markers aren't going to quite blend as well, but if that's what you have, you can also use those. For the white crayon, you're going to take it and you're going to color inside the window here. And also inside the windshield. All right, so we're already looking a little more like a truck. The yellow, you're gonna color the headlight. I'm also gonna color the steering wheel, and then I'm gonna take yellow and I'm gonna color my hubcaps. And I'm gonna layer some colors. So I'm actually gonna take the white and go over that too. and it's gonna make it look a little more metallic, just give it a really neat appearance. Color that in. Tires are gonna be black, of course, or gray if you would like. And again, when you're coloring, you want to try and color all in one direction, stay inside the lines. Sometimes on construction paper, though, you might need to crisscross a little bit. Fill that in. I'm also going to take the black, actually I'm going to take the gray and the brown, sorry. And those two double lines that we drew between the tires are what's called the running board, the part that you would step on to get into the truck. And I'm going to layer the gray and the brown there to make that look more like a running board. I'm going to take the gray and color the bumper. And then I'm going to take my white and I'm going to start at the bottom, the ends of each of the fenders, and just make some white lines that go up. They don't meet in the middle. You can see they just kind of go. I start with my crayon at the end and I push up and just let the crayon go where it wants. I'm not coloring the whole thing in. This just helps make it look a little more rounded and show the highlights and the shadows where the sun or the light would be hitting the fenders, but really just helps make them look a lot more rounded. And you can also take your blue and kind of go over that to make it blend in a little bit more. And then I'm also going to do some of that at the door, especially where the door curves here. And at the top corner. You can see I'm just kind of going around the truck in the corners, adding a little bit of white to make it not quite so flat. And then again with the blue, I'm just going to kind of do a light blue over everything. And it makes it look a little more rough and tough like the little blue truck does in the book. Not quite so perfect. This truck's been around a while. And I'm not really coloring the whole thing. I'm just a little blue here and there. So there's our little blue truck. Then what you want to do is get your scissors and you're going to carefully cut around the outline of the truck. Notice I'm not cutting any black off. I'm trying very hard not to cut any of that black crayon or marker or colored pencil off. I want to leave that outline on the truck as much as possible. So now I have my little blue truck cut out. What I want to do is draw a background for it. So I'm just going to do a background kind of like I did here, just the hills, maybe looks like a field to you, some plants, and that'll be my background. If you want to have your little blue truck go into a city or wherever you want to have it go, draw that. You don't have to draw a field like I am. So I'm actually going to start with a black crayon. I'm not going to draw in pencil this time. If you'd like to draw in pencil first, please feel free to. First thing I'm going to do is just go about the middle of the paper and draw a wavy line. Then I'm going to draw a wavy line pretty close to that one, and it doesn't stay the same thickness the whole way. And then another one, whoops, back here. That's a little bit more of a hills. And then some straight lines that are going to be more like a grass. And then I can start coloring it in. So what I like to do is layer colors. So back here for these hills, what I'm going to do is color them with brown. I'm just going to do a small section here just to show you. And then I'm going to take black and just lightly go over it. And it just helps give that color a little more depth. Not, again, it doesn't look quite so flat then. And I'm actually also going to take a little gray. And I would color the whole section in that way. You can see on my example, I have kind of a brown section, I have a grayish black section, the grass, the sky, and then down here I have yellow with a little bit of brown. If you have watercolors, this would be really fun to do the background with watercolors. If you don't have watercolors, again, crayons, colored pencils are gonna work great. Just use what you have. Once you have the background completely colored in, you're gonna wanna take markers or colored pencils, something with a finer point if you can find it. Otherwise, again, crayons are fine. And you're gonna add some plants. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna use green Sharpie because it's gonna show up really, really well against the crayon. It's not gonna have a problem sticking with the crayon there. And I'm just gonna draw different plants. You can draw flowers. These are kind of just like bushes that I'm drawing. And you can see these are just like straight lines that I draw out and then come right back, and there's my bush. Use different colors, add some little flowers to it if you want. And it doesn't even have to be a real flower. You can kind of make up your own as you go. It's all about your imagination. Just kind of helps to add to the background a little more interest and a little more color. So once you have your background done, take that little blue truck that you cut out, glue it on, and your little blue truck is set and ready to go. I'd love to see where you have your little blue truck going. Have fun. Remember, you don't have to make it go in the desert or a field or anywhere that I made mine go. Have yours go wherever you'd like it to go. Maybe your favorite place to go on vacation. I'd love to see them. So when you're done, if you have a chance, send me an email so I can take a glance at it. You guys have been doing some great work. I can't wait to see what you do with this. And I will see you next week with our final project. I can't believe school year's almost over. Have a great week, guys. Bye.